Hey guys, welcome to this video. David here, and today we're going to be looking at one of the most widely accepted ideas in the New Age, spirituality, religion, which are chakras. And I'm going to tell you something you may or may not have suspected, which is that they don't actually exist. And that's not based on guesswork, it's based on a lifetime of exploring and challenging these ideas. Now, the reason I'm going to make this video is actually in response to seeing somebody so disempowered over the idea of chakras, and I thought it was good to actually put it out there and maybe invite us all to challenge these ideas. I know people are going to struggle with it because I've mentioned it to people in the past and they say, no, they definitely do exist. And so this isn't about debunking, it's actually an invitation to you to explore and to challenge, to think about where do these ideas actually come from? Why do we believe them so much? Why do we give them so much power and we give it away to concepts that we have no real idea about? Because for me, when we understand the truth of something, we can take our power back. And that's the point of the whole thing. So having worked with people for 35 years, one-on-one in groups as a healer and a practitioner, I can recall so many times where people would come in and say, oh, my chakra's blocked, and that's why my leg doesn't work, or my chakra's blocked, and that's why I'm having a terrible relationship. And of course, I knew that was nonsense. And so we took a different route. We begin to explore their limiting beliefs, their ideas, how they were using their energy, that type of thing. And every time it cleared up. It's nothing to do with chakras. And if you are a practitioner or a healer and you've got comments or thoughts on that, stick and below. I'm happy to explore deeper with you. And I would also say that most people don't know that the chakra system, as we think of it, was actually, the kind of seven-coloured wheels up the spine, spinning in certain ways. It's not an ancient truth at all. It's actually a very kind of relatively modern creation, but we get really over connected with it. Different Indian traditions had different systems. Some spoke of 4 chakras, some of 9, some of 1,000, some, all that kind of stuff. But the neat 7-coloured rainbow system that we use today was pieced together through Western interpretations. We Westernized it. It was in the 20th century, mixing kind of yoga, theosophy, New Age publishing, all that kind of stuff. So it's not real. Okay, it's not real. So why do we love these ideas like chakras so much? And I think it's because of one thing. I think we don't trust ourselves, and we place more value in old Eastern traditions that seem old and exotic. We assume wisdom has to come from somewhere exotic, over there somewhere, to be valid. And as silly as it might be to say, but I know if chakras were invented in Bradford in the north of England, they would not have been adopted in the same way as they are, right? They just absolutely wouldn't. These are a cultural phenomenon because we do not trust ourselves. So here's the thing. If you go back to the sources, you will find, or when these first ideas were created, diversity, contradiction, and invention, you'll find somebody had a psychic experience of some kind. They create a system to try and understand it, try and logicalize it, shared it with others, and over time it gets added to, changes, and adopted. And it works because we create our own reality, not because chakras exist. And with a little effort, you can prove that to yourself, I absolutely promise you. And this means that what we call the chakra system is really a story. It's a story we agree on, and that's cool, but it's not an objective fact of the body. And I learned this firsthand, of course. I'm an experimenter. When I took over a spiritual school in the 90s, we inherited a library of about 1,000 books, and 15 and 20 of them on chakras. And I'm interested, so I read them all. And what struck me wasn't how unified they were, but it was also how different they were, and that everything everybody was saying worked. Each author described the chakras differently, with different colours and functions and numbers, and associated with numerology and all this kind of stuff. And yet every single one of them claimed that their version was true and real. And it's only when that first moment I thought, well, maybe it's not about chakras at all. Maybe it's about the belief in chakras. And that's what we need to explore and understand, because we create our own reality. That's what this is all about. This is the real reason that people have these experiences. This chakra system and what we experience of it is the law of attraction at play. And when I was working as a healer for 15 years, I tried every system going. I was intrigued, of course. And again, I saw the results didn't come from the system. I tried different things. I tried things upside down and left and right, and they all worked. Okay. And the key is that's what makes the difference, is they all worked. And so let's take another tack. My out-of-body experiences, and if you ever had them, and lucid dreams also reinforced all this. When you're in a dream, do you create a dream body with chakras poking out and going in different directions? No, of course you don't. And you construct the body through your senses, through your 5 senses in a dream and here. And I have made several videos on that. You can explore them. But fundamentally, our physical body is generated by consciousness. It only looks this way because our senses create it. We don't need chakras in order to create the experience of the body. I'm not saying that there isn't energy within, outside the physical body, but it's not chakras. And this is where it gets a little bit silly and disempowering, I think, which is lots of people who are unwilling to challenge these ideas claim that they can take out your chakra and clean them, that they're going the wrong way and that's why you're struggling, or that they need cleansing or something. And it's simply not true. So I want to encourage you to step back for a moment and explore the energetics of it. Are we really supposed to believe, just take on faith, that the body actually only works or fails because some wheel goes in a different direction? Or that you need a specialist of some kind, normally going to charge you some money to kind of scrub the colours clean or whatever. You know, when you step outside of these stories and challenge it enough, they just don't hold up. And I really want to encourage you to explore them with an open mind and open heart, but a critical mind, just as I did. And I think it's time to challenge ideas like chakras. I know it is. Not to dismiss people's experiences. They're real and they're valid if they're helping them. But the fact is, they're also extremely disempowering. And I want to give you a couple of examples of where they are used. And there are other videos on this here. So in the Reiki, for example, I taught thousands of people Reiki. There are no chakras in Reiki. They weren't added to the first system. They were added in. You know, you don't need chakras for attunements or anything along those kind of lines. It's nonsense. But it's a handy map that we can talk about. Okay, acupuncture. Most people believe that it works because we've got meridians going up and down the body, and you've got to put pins in to unblock them. But actually, I started to challenge this. Asked a very, very experienced acupuncturist, does it really matter where you put the needle? I said, no, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you believe about where the needle is put. So I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying it does, but it doesn't work for the reasons because of chakras and kind of bodily ley lines and all that kind of stuff. So what that suggests, the more we press into it, is that it's the deeper interaction of belief, body, and consciousness that is causing these results. And here's my point. When we stop taking systems like chakras as literal truth, then we don't disempower ourselves. We actually gain it. We say, no, actually, I have the power to heal myself. Yeah, because we begin to see the real power isn't a map that somebody else gave us. You know, it's actually consciousness created the map, and we are the consciousness that create the maps that work for us, and that means you. So it's not about tearing down spirituality. The map of spirituality that we have had, particularly in the New Age and all that, and religions, just has to expand. It's about stepping beyond the kind of inherited myths into something around conscious creation, where you're no longer limited by somebody else's system, but you're free to explore your own. So that's my invitation to you. And if that excites you, or you've got questions, you want to go deeper, you can join the community where we explore multidimensional reality, where we challenge ideas like this. The link's in the description. But if you have any comments below, but before you comment, if your comment is that you used them and they worked, I am going to agree with you. But I'm going to agree with you not because chakras exist, but because you create your own reality. And when you believe in something, and you unite with somebody else that believes in something, it does work. I agree, but I would still maintain with enough critical common sense focus, if you like, go and read 15 books on chakras, go and do healing for a period of time, challenge the ideas, and I promise you, you'll come up with the same kind of understanding of it as I do. The world is a magical place, and healing does work and all that stuff, but chakras do not. Okay, comment below. Take care. See you on the next one.